All right, everybody. Lovely to have all of you here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. Thank you very much for being part of this event today, which touches on a very important subject, which is mental health, and is very focused around mental health at the corporate stress level. So your workplace is a place where you spend a lot of time of your life, actually. We all do. And what happens is there are certain environments within the workplace that affect you. And one of that environment is stress. And how you deal with it, how you manage it, how you read it, how you measure it, defines and decides how you're going to deal with it at the end. Today, we are pleased and happy to have two very good professionals, Wojtek and his wife, Lana, who have been working in this space for a very long time. In fact, Lana is a professional psychiatrist as well, and she'll tell more about herself and Wojtek as well in a little bit. So what we're trying to do today is trying to understand, number one, from users, which is people who are experiencing work stress, and what is their idea of work stress? What do they think is actually work stress? And then we will let the two professionals speak about their experience and what they think what work stress is and how can it be managed. The work stress that we live in today is very big. In fact, it's all about what are the jobs you're doing and the competition for people who might take over your job, the pay scales that you get, your fear of being fired, your boss who's very tough, your deadlines that are very low, your resources that are not enough. All of this accumulates. Now, where did this all come about, right? So this all came about around 2 years ago, and Wojtek was part of it, where we decided to launch a new mental health startup called Two. It's Thrive Well organization. And Two basically focuses, it's a mental health app. You can download it and you will see it in your chat box a little later. It focuses on giving you tools that will help you understand mental health on one place. And second place, it will help you start dealing with it. So it's professional suggestions and medical advices and suggestions and activities that you can do to help you improve your mental health or the way you manage your mental health. Now, today's event is going to be very special because, number one, we're going to hear from people who are working professionals, and I'm going to invite some of them now to speak. And they are thankfully our panelists. So thank you all panelists today to be part of this, both on behalf of me and Wojtek and Lana and Rahul. We're very pleased that you took the time to share your opinion. So without any further discussion, what I will do is I will invite each panelist to speak for about 2 minutes about what is their idea of work stress. So let's start with Mr. Mohiddin, who works as an oil sector professional. And Mr. Mohiddin, we'd like to hear from you. What do you think is work stress in your work environment? Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdullah. What I believe basically about the work stress is it is basically the corporate stress what we carry when we are having some challenges in the work environment. And what are the points which are coming to my mind is basically incomplete projects and even the delayed completion of the projects and organizational changes. When you have a very smooth organization, all of a sudden somebody at your top, even your immediate boss or anybody at the management, when they change it, then definitely their approach is different. So again, because of that, decision-making process gets delayed. So those kind of things creates stress. And apart from that, like when you are working in the NGOs, if you have a poor team who are not doing up to your expectations, there also you carry a lot of stress. Though theoretically, all we as a managers know that we are not supposed to carry the work to our home. It indirectly creates pressure on us because of these uncertain and unexpected challenges what we have.
So thank you very much. And let me just ask you, just to define a little bit more. So you said that one of the biggest challenges you have is you prepare yourself for a project and all of a sudden your boss changes. Now the new boss comes in and he has new.
Yes. Hello.
How does that affect you? Why is it stressful? Can you hear me?
Basically, see, every management philosophy is different. Every manager is different. When you have new people like at the top level, means like the approach is totally different. So like you need to tune yourself according to the new management. That is a stressful journey. This all of a sudden you have been proposing something, you have some approach of submitting the proposals and carrying out the work, but the new management, they may totally reject it because of XYZ reasons. So that's the reason, when you are at the execution level, you need to keep some cushion for those aspects also. That's my belief.
Thank you, Mr. Mohideen. It was very nice of you to share your thoughts and experiences, and we'll later let the two professionals talk about it. But first, let me invite the next panelist, Mr. Adnan. Adnan, could you please share with us your opinion on work stress, and what do you think is work stress?
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah, for giving the opportunity to speak. Basically, me coming from a banking industry in the management level, work stress, according to me, is like these days, everyone is focusing on digital transformation and, customer journey and all that. And me being an IT or project management professional, coming in terms with, strict deadlines, keeping the stakeholders happy, resource management, risk management actually takes a toll. But end of the day, what I do is that I just, finish work and, I don't take it to my home. But sometimes, you get calls, you get, escalation emails that are, unavoidable, that actually does make you disturbed, and that's actually a big concern as well. But as Mr. Mohideen also said, that when there is a change in the organizational structure, and when there is a management change, that affects a lot as well, because there are new initiatives and the old roadmaps are transformed into a transition to new roadmaps. So that is how things affect. And it is a well quoted statement that people don't leave their jobs, they leave their managers. So I think, yeah, that is also one of the factors. If you have a great manager, if you have a great boss, I mean, it's work can be fun, work can be relaxed, and I mean, you can accept more challenges and and deliver them in a more constructive manner, rather than being dismooded and just being worried that things are not going in your favor. You just need to hang in there, you just need to survive. But yeah, work stress is everywhere, be it any sector. Specifically in the banking sector, the work stress is a lot these days, just because things are changing on a very faster pace.
So generally, Adnan, just to understand, when you have deadlines that are coming closer, what are the kind of stress that you experience? Is it stress where you feel your health is being affected, which means, do you go through dizzy spells? Do you feel that, that the stress is just giving you a clog in your head? Or do you feel stressed that, I may not be able to deliver this because, what is being expected and what I have is a little bit of a gap here. Is that what you experience?
Basically, when they're like various central banks in everywhere in the world, when those projects need to be delivered on time and their expectations are like it just should be delivered within a week, or they come up with just random deadlines. So that time I do have lack of sleep, and I'm always tense. But I mean, what I do is like I just maintain my composure, and I just sometimes I do have health issues as well, like headache, and I just like it's just like this thing would never have been there in the first place. So in that manner, what I do is like I hit the gym, I talk to my friends, I go out for a long drive, and talk to my family and stuff. So that is how it is. But yeah, deadlines is a big thing for everyone to meet, be it any organization, and to meet them is a challenge. But yeah, your health does get affected, so you need to take care of it.
Yeah, I think one of the good things that will happen today is, once you all spoken as panelists, Wojtek and his wife Lana will help you understand how, because yes, we do agree that it does affect your health in general, and that's the flaw of mental health stress, that it overtakes the rest of your body and your body begins to react. So hopefully later, when the two professionals speak, they will be able to touch on how to manage your stress at a level and a size that can be taken and managed. So thank you, Adnan, for it. Let me invite the next panelist, Mr. Rachit Bhosle. Rachit, it would be nice to hear your views on what do you think is mental stress or stress at work.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thanks for the opportunity to talk, to express my opinion.
Sure.
Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. So, so when it pertains to me, I'm working as a Scrum lead. So I have a team working across globally. So when and different time zones. So and the work from home after post pandemic is like forced work from home conditions, wherein we need to be available all throughout the day, and you may not you may get a break, so in between the day, not on the whole of the not on some particular time slots where you have were working on. So I start my day early in the morning and then take a break in the afternoon, again start in the evening, and goes up to the midnight. So it completely changes the complete ecosystem of my life. So the work life balance and the I don't find some time to uh, to do some physical exercises for my physical health perspective. It's directly affecting my hair. And again, as others mentioned, again, project delivery and every other things is also a part of it. So
well, see, I think, Rachid, the good thing is that we're having a very honest discussion, and everybody's being very transparent and open about what they're going through, because this is important, because we all as professionals need to realize that our work actually affects who we are and how we behave and how we react and how we develop as we go. Because if our mental health is not in place, then everything that you have as professional capability becomes altered or fractured, because you're not able to deliver what you can really deliver. And I'm hoping that Lana and Wojtek will again touch on this, because there are a lot of professionals, Wojtek and Lana, who work across time zones, right? So they're based in India and they're trying to engage with customers in England, in America, and time zones of 9 hours and 12 hours, and it disturbs their sleep, but they have to deliver. These are contracts and they're deliverables. So Rachid, thank you very much for sharing your views and opinions. Can I invite...
Sure,
go ahead.
like because of this work environment now, like everyone are facing, because of the work from home culture. So wherein we don't have personal contact, wherein we don't have interact with the people personally, rather than all meetings and everything's happening through a virtual, and so it's a virtual interaction is what it is happening, and that's a major drawback, I would say, because of this work from home culture. So
yeah, and that shift of gear really put everybody off guard, right? So
yeah.
Everybody is not as confident, happy, and smiling like these two couple here, Wojtek and Lana, when they work, because they're used to managing expectations. But the regular souls, the regular people, they're not used to being on screen. They're not used to trying to deliver their sales pitch or their work online. And we were all forced to do it. And all of a sudden, we were actually driven to a new level of stress, which today we are going through, and hopefully the two speakers will touch on that. So Rachid, thank you very much for sharing that with us. Let me invite the next panelist, Bashir. Bashir, could you please share with us your opinions on what do you think is work stress?
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Abdullah, for the opportunity to speak. From my perspective, so I am leading the 10 members of team. So people who works in the company for the project, they should not create the toxic environment among the peers. They should be, they do the work and they do enjoy the parts of the work. But I used to see people's, they are doing the micromanagement between them, and it leads to create the toxic environment, and this will completely lead into a project in different way. So I don't want to explain this in my, this really affects my mental health, and also the people or the leader, with lack of memory, and that will be leading to the misunderstanding of the particular task or the project delivery. So this is what I'm experiencing from my project and my life. Yeah.
So I think, Bashir, you touched on something which hopefully the two speakers will touch on, which is a tagline we use, but it's actually very big. It's called toxic environment. And toxic environments are created by leaders who have these blinded ambitions which are very self-centered, unfortunately, and the language and the environment they create becomes an issue for others to follow. Hence, people have
Exactly.
to kind of be led. So hopefully the two speakers will touch on it. Bashir, thank you very much for sharing that with us. Let me invite the next panelist, Mateen. Mateen, could you please share with us your idea of corporate stress and what do you think really happens there in just a few lines? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Myself, I'm working in a bank. I'm an investment banker. My stress at workplace is basically the shortage of HR, human resources at times. Zero tolerance for the errors. Working in a treasury department, most of our deals are high value deals. Though we follow the procedures and the policies and everything is taken care. However, due to some errors not from our side, we land up in having payments not being done or something like that. And then the management, instead of going into the core of the system, they directly start blaming the operations guys and all that. Secondly, secondly, the zero tolerance, which I said for errors, the resources which I have, first of all, they are shortage in numbers. The work is ever increasing day by day because all management are ambitious. They want the bank or they want their company to grow. They give the targets to the business guys. And the business guys, in order to achieve those targets, they just go on doing the work. I mean, the work increases. However, the resources are the same. So at times, you know, I have a very stressful day at the end of the day. It definitely affects my sleep at times, but not much, because then what I think is that I just take it in, I just console myself and I just think that what worst will happen. I'll be fired if there is anything, and then I let go because I don't want my health to be affected because of this stress. But yes, being human being, as we are all human beings, we tend to take stress and tension. These are the few reasons why there is a lot of stress in the work. Having said that, even the junior or the subordinate staffs working with me, they might take the responsibility, but they don't come down and perform their responsibilities when it comes to doing the work. So these are few of the things which really at times give me stress. But as I said, I try to relieve stress myself by just considering us, talking to myself and saying that, okay, I'm doing whatever are there in the policies and the procedures. I'm doing it to the best of the interest of the bank without any, I mean, in the best interest of the bank. And if there are any things which are beyond my control or beyond my control, then it is the management who has to understand. And alhamdulillah, because of that, it's still going on. I have been working in this bank for the last 12 years now. So, but yes.
So I think, Mateen, this is very good sharing, because I think one of the issues with the work environment is that you always have a sense of reality that exists where there is zero tolerance for any shortcomings, and that zero tolerance is like an declared and undeclared rule with no real substance, which means that, I'm telling somebody to get things done no matter what, without realizing whether I'm giving him the resources or whether what I'm expecting the other person to do is actually realistic or not. Because, cascading orders down the chain is very simple for managers or line managers or seniors to do. But for employees to kind of take that over without any feedback or without any recourse becomes very stressful. So I think what we have understood today, speaking to all of these professional individuals and panelists working in different sectors, oil, banking, technology, etc., is that we've understood that all of them have actually similar things, but defined in very different ways. And now I think what we would like to do is listen to the professionals and see, number one, what they have to share with us, and number two, what exactly is their experience, because it would be good to understand what is the expertise and then to understand what they can bring to the table. So basically, without any further ado, let me welcome and thank Wojtek and Lana for being here today on the call. And I'd be very, very happy, as will everybody else on this call and on LinkedIn that everybody's looking at, to hear both of you. So please go for it, and please introduce yourself the best way you think you want to.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Do you hear guys well? Yep.
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay, Lana, please start. About yourself.
Yeah, my name is Lana Jurojc. I'm a Gestalt psychotherapist, and I work individually with clients from all around the world. And we also, with my husband, provide different well-being workshops online and offline. Mostly our clients, when it comes to workshops and webinars, are international companies. And when I work individually with my clients, they are mostly also workers and employees hired by international companies. I don't know. Thank you so much also for your questions. And really my empathy is going to you guys. I know how it is stressful to, first of all, being a manager and being a CEO, being an employee. And nowadays we have a lot of challenges. All of us have a lot of challenges and issues to deal with on a daily basis. And just before that meeting, we had a short conversation with Abdullah, and I really, really agree that these challenges might not stop just like that. They are all the time with us, you know. Some of us, I don't know, splitting up with our partners, some of us losing our parents, some of us having financial problems with income, some of us getting fired, some of us getting depressed. And this, really, there are around us a lot of external challenges. And what I experience on a daily basis at my job, that people, the main thing, what I really want to say, that a lot of people have still problems in sharing their own emotions and problems with the others. I think a lot of employees feel lonely, feel like they're alone with their problems. You know, it's what I hear from people on a daily basis. They think to share with their emotions, about their emotions, it's kind of dangerous, even that they might lose their job. So if they share their emotions, their frustration, their feelings, it is dangerous and it's not safe. It can define them as being weak, being a weak person. And that is, I think, a problem for employees and also for employers, because the environment might not be safe to share. You know, I know that a lot of my clients going through really difficult challenges in life. Some of them grieving, some of them having depression, clinical depression, some of them are having real lifetime challenges, but they don't say it loud. Nobody from their company knows, apart from several very trustworthy colleagues, what they are going through. And in the same time, they have to pretend that everything is fine. They need to reach their target. They need to, being efficient and productive and not lose the motivation. And when a person is, I think that also when a person is they need to pretend on a daily basis that he's okay, but he's not, it also takes a lot of energy, and a person might lose, motivation and productivity and efficiency on the way. And also, this is the biggest maybe message to you, that I think share your emotions and understand your emotions is one of the important thing in order to feel yourself healthy mentally. Because other thing is that many people don't understand their own emotions, and behind emotions there are always needs. Our emotions, they are signals to the way we feel, what we need. And many times when a person comes to me, they don't understand, they cannot define if they feel guilty, shame, anger, that if they feel rage, if they feel lonely, if they feel like there is a huge problem still nowadays that people cannot define their own emotions. And when I'm not aware of what is going on with me, many times like there's nothing you can do sometimes until you start understanding what is going on. And to me personal, that is a responsibility is not only for that employees need to take care of their mental health and understand what is going on actually, but also employers need to develop their emotional intelligence and understand and create an environment at work which can help employees to share their emotions, to share their challenges, issues, and not being scared, being fired, being perceived as a weak person, being ashamed, or something like that. So for me, this is the one important message what I want to share with you. And thank you so much also for being honest, for everybody who shared their questions. I would like to, reply further, with Wojtek.
We'll move to the questions later on, but the topic is quite wide here, and thank you everyone for sharing your own experiences, and thank you, Abdullah, for having us here. Actually, you mentioned, a lot of topics like rotation, problems with rotation, lack of compassion, lack of balance, right? Toxic environment, fear of being fired, and so on. This actually, we can build separate webinar for each topic. But I would like to quick tell about myself, maybe from more I would say perspective person who was there. I was lucky enough that I've seen 60 countries around the world, lived in different environments internationally in different corporations. And as a young person, having 24 years old, I went through my first burnout because I didn't take care of myself. Listen, you guys, I totally see myself from the past when I went through the burnout because I didn't know how to take care of my mental health. I was taking care of my physical health, but not mental health. And I didn't know the tools, and I had the big goals, huge KPIs, actually work a little bit in the toxic environment. But as a young person, I didn't so much care about this because I care about the result, but I didn't care about myself. And my small advice is here that you should put yourself in the center and always priority is your health. And this is the most important because you can work a lot, right? You can deal with a lot of stress, but at the end of the day, every one of us has some limits. Of course, stress is not a bad thing, and we're going to deal with stress till the end of our life. But when we exceed some amount of stress, we're losing energy, we're getting sick. It's influenced our not only body, but our mental and physical state. As with the culture, we live in an always-on culture, right? We are connected with our jobs, with our work. We're working at home. Sometimes there is no work-life balance. There's actually work-life integration where those two things, our life and our work, are influencing each other. So from my perspective here, what I can advise you, it's slowly but surely taking care of your mental health. I'm not saying right now that everyone should spend hours of doing or learning different stuff. Sometimes you just need a small step, small habit to implement on your daily basis to change your life. And from my perspective as a briefing coach, briefing, and this lady actually saved my life because I met Lana when I was really in a bad condition, bad shape, and thanks to her knowledge, I improved my psychological knowledge. But thanks to briefing, I learned that whenever is happening in my life, whatever external circumstances are bad, everything is here, and all depends on me, how I react, and what kind of emotions I'm gonna have inside. So thanks to briefing, actually, not so many people talks about that. Actually, briefing influences a lot of things in your body, but not only body, but your mind, your emotion state.
Can you define a little bit more about briefing? Can you explain it a little bit more?
Sure. For example, 70% of our daily energy comes through breathing. So actually, there's one sentence which I want to say today. If you breathe enough and you breathe consciously during your day, you can keep your mental health in a very good shape, because you have enough oxygen which goes to your body and your brain that you feel energy, you feel very strong, you feel that you have a clear mind, right? So you have a more balance and you have a more margin for any external circumstances or stress which is coming to you. And it's, of course, it's a process. You cannot just do it like this, just right. I'm just start breathing and everyone will change within 1 second. It's a process.
Because that was exactly my question, that how does one begin to kind of get to the part where they're able to manage or control or time their breathing? How does one do that?
Imagine, yeah, you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something that, for example, a lot of people have problems with anxiousness. It's one of the biggest challenges also for employees. And the thing is, when we're anxious or when we experience some of our emotions, we stop even breathing. Or when we cry or when we are really worried, yep. Sometimes we even block our breath.
Freeze our body.
Just even a lot of psychotherapists during a session, they say, be sure that you're breathing right now. Because breath can also help you to release some of your very painful emotions. It can help you to kind of feel better because of the level of oxygen in the brain, and also to just feel more relaxed. And like going through the biggest challenges, biggest like painful emotions. The breath is much easier than.
So Lana, do you have a particular recommendation for people as a technique to breathe correctly? Is there certain technique that they have to follow?
Yeah, there are a lot of actually breathing exercises. Wojtek, I think, can advise more, but I think our favorite one is 4-7-8. I also recommend it a lot to my clients.
You can Google it.
You can Google it. It's called 4-7-8. But shortly is when you inhale and count to 4, then hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you exhale slowly and count to 8. And so this exercise, first of all, helps you.
Can you just repeat that one more time, please? Can you repeat that?
So you count to 4, you inhale and
through the nose.
Through the nose. Then you hold your breath for about 7 seconds. And then you exhale gradually, slowly, and count to 8. This exercise helps you to relax, and also, first of all, focus on the present moment, because it's very difficult to focus on a lot of things at once. So when you focus on the present moment, focus on your body, on your breath, it's much easier to overcome some difficult emotions like anxiety, like fear, anger, because for our body and mind, it's difficult to focus on the fear and at the same time on the breath. That's why a lot of mindfulness practices inviting you to focus on the breath during like meditation, and pranayama practices, which involves the breath.
So if I asked you a medical question, and I use the term, but it's not really the term. So when one does the inhaling of 4 seconds and holding for 7 and releasing slowly for 8, what happens to that person's mind or body internally? What is the changes that take place which are good for him or her? What are those?
First of all, I wanted to, because at the beginning you said that I'm a psychiatrist, but I'm not exactly a doctor, but I'm a psychotherapist in Gestalt, right? So I cannot tell you maybe from the medical exactly perspective, but from the scientific perspective, psychotherapy, first of all, when you are self-aware, when you when you're here and now, focusing on the present moment, and brings you back to this exact moment, you cannot in the same time experience all the spectrum of emotions. You kind of feel grounded. And when our brain is focusing on one thing at a time, when we involve also like a breath, then in the same time, then we get a high level of oxygen. Then in the same time, through this practice, we decrease level of cortisol and increase level of endorphins. in our body, which of course influence our mood state and our emotional, how we feel, etc. So maybe you can add something.
Thanks, Lanka. Yeah, also I would add that average person use only 1/3 of their volume of the lungs for a lifetime. Why? Because we are freezing our emotions in our bodies. Lana told about this today. Look, when I'm happy, right, I'm laughing, my posture is straight, right? Like I'm happy, it's open. But take a look, guys, when you are in stress, what are you doing? You change your position, you're freezing your emotions, you stop breathing. So when you're starting to work on your breath, it's even like a 4-7-8 exercise, you slowly exceeding your volume of the lungs. Thanks to this, more oxygen goes to your body, goes to your brain. So you can feel better. You can be more.
So all the panelists who today talked about toxic environment, shorter deadlines, high pressure, usually can use this technique or this understanding that you just shared to create their perspective correctly. Because if they create their perspective correctly, which you rightly put, it will help them at least position or give them an advantage towards managing the issue. Because I think having a challenge and putting your body through stress does not go hand in hand, because it always puts you in a disadvantage. So if they actually use this little simple technique of 4 seconds in, hold it for 7 seconds and let it out for 8 seconds, the oxygen flow to the brain, like Wojtek just described, is very important. So please go ahead. I think this is getting very interesting now. Go on.
Sure. If I may, you want, please.
Yeah, I would also like, of course, maybe to dedicate a few more minutes for the questions after to, of course, breathing exercise is really crucial. And in general, mindfulness practices, right, that includes breathing and includes maybe for some people as better meditation, visualization practices, right? So I think this is the most important, that the person likes this mindfulness practices, because for some people it's not really working because they simply don't like it,
or they don't believe in it.
Yeah, so of course you need to choose something for yourself which you like, which works the best for you. Yes, because every person is like I work in Gestalt psychotherapy, and for me, the main philosophy is that every person is unique, and what works for me might not work for another person, and it's absolutely fine. Yes, my expectations is only my expectations, and you have your own expectations, and we don't have to, I don't have to fulfill always your expectations, etc. And all the same with what we are now proposing, like the practices and exercises might work for someone or might not, but I think this is what we encourage, is to search for the best way for a person to feel better. And thanks God, nowadays are a lot of opportunities what we can do in order to improve our mental health, and what actually a company can do in order to improve the mental health of employees. Yeah,
I would like to also add here, because you all mentioned about a lot of things here, and there is also one very important topic, which is a lot of distractors in our life, a lot of information which we need to process on a daily basis, and everyone has a recent amount and capacity which you can take day by day. So this is very important, to know yourself, know your body, know your emotions. What do you feel? How do I feel? Because very often is that we getting sick, and we got sick very, very, very seriously. But before, our body sometimes showing us some signs. So it's very important from our perspective to always observe yourself, right? For example, you're waking up in the morning and you have different pains in different parts of the body, although you didn't exercise last day. So I had like this in my case. When I got burnout, I also got depressed. I felt I had a different pains around my area at our chest. I don't know from where it came from. So it's very important because, according to statistics, 1 out of 10 person, who is in stress knows that is in stress. So it's very important. Sometimes we don't even know that we are stressed. And
why do you think is that the case? Because this is something that even I have understood, that a lot of people, when we when we launched the app, our mental health app, we realized that a lot of people don't actually realize that what they're going through is a mental health issue. And it's not a bad day at the job, or it's not just I'm having a tough weekend because I've got extra work that I need to take at home. So is it that people are oblivious of the reality, or is it a sense of, lack of belief or living in denial? What have you seen in your experience? What is it?
I think everything of it. According to my experience, according from the culture where I am from, you always putting different people on the pedestal as a first, as a priority, and very, very rarely you're taking care of yourself. And if you don't taking care of yourself, how you can help your family, how you can play with your kids, how you can have energy to just help your wife. And very often we're just forgetting about ourselves, or are going to have heavy work, because to meet the deadlines. And at the end of the day, we are landing in a situation which we didn't even expect, that suddenly, the battery is cut and we don't have a power is cut, and we don't have a power to just to wake up. And I went through this burnout. One day I woke up, it was a sunny morning, and I couldn't get out from my bed because I felt so bad suddenly. And my body said, no, Wojtek, you cannot continue anymore working because you are really sick. And that's why I always trying to tell, no matter where you're from, if you're from India, Kuwait, UK, Poland, you just need to start taking care of yourself, not only physically, but on different levels, mentally, emotionally, what like Lana said, holistically. Because when you take care of yourself holistically, you are prepared for these external situations which will be coming and are coming. So that's, of course, my experience.
So in your views, both of your views, when we say holistic management of yourself, what are the elements? What covers holistic? What does one have to do to be holistic? How is holistic applied through the day? We have 24 hours in which maybe we sleep for 6-8 hours. How do we manage our day to have a holistic approach? So in your experience, because you've worked with other corporates and you've provided for them suggestions and solutions, but just in general terms, how would you do that? Because, these days we listen to a lot of terms, holistic this and holistic that, but we really need to understand what is it. So today, if you can just share a little bit of that.
No?
I think personally that some people, they only exercise and go to the gym or go jogging or do something like this, but then they come home and then they scream at their family members and they feel angry, or they have a bad sleep at night, they have nightmares, or they come to work, they feel demotivated, they don't have any joy of life, but they still think that going to a gym is the only solution what they can have, because other options are like mindfulness, for example. A lot of men think that still mindfulness is just something feminine, and it's just like some this meditation. What is this? I'm not gonna do that. Or going to psychotherapist, it means that I am mentally sick and actually everything is fine with me. But in the same time, they are living with this either anxiousness, fears, and they feel tension in their body. They have, like Wojtek said before, some pain in their neck or pain in their chest, and they cannot define really what's happening with them. And I think in this way that our body always shows us, yes, our emotions always shows us that we need to take care of ourselves. And holistically, it means that you use all the spectrum of tools which you can. I think that you can consider mindfulness. If you don't like it, you can go to psychotherapy. If you don't like it, you can focus on other practices, like going to massage or going to something which you can relate to yourself, something which you like, something which you can enjoy from. And I think this is that can be really very it depends on you, what you like.
I would add that we should differentiate like 3 levels: physical level, spiritual level or maybe higher purpose level of your being, and emotional and mental level. And if you are working with this three level, actually Mr. Celia in 1950s and 60s was working on this, and he proved that actually if you're working on these three levels, you can take care of your well-being and be and you can easily resist to stress. So of course, everyone, and it has to resonate with you. So everyone has a different, let's say, hobbies, or everyone is different, wants to spend time, to work out. So what Lana said nicely about this emotional and mental level. Some people prefer to go to psychotherapists. Some people prefer to talk to someone when it comes to mental. And when it comes to spirituality, some people prefer to pray. Some people prefer to meditate. So whatever works, there are plenty of tools. The most important is to adjust yourself to these tools and discover which things resonate with you.
And there is what I really like. There is a paradoxical theory of change by Beiser, and what I really like in that theory, that the change starts when I'm becoming aware of something. So it means that when I'm becoming aware of my emotions, when I'm knowing, okay, that I'm experiencing now a lot of shame or guilt, then I can understand, okay, what do I actually need? What this emotion is trying to show me? And then I'm totally accepting myself with my emotions, with my fears, with my challenges. I'm who I am at this exact moment, and then I'm trying to force this change. I'm accepting myself who I am with all of spectrum of my emotions, and then it gives me a huge potential to change something for the better. Then I can ask myself, okay, why am I experiencing a shame right now? Or maybe I need something. What do I need right now? Maybe I need to ask for support. Maybe I need to ask an opinion of my wife or colleagues. What do they think about my job? How can I maybe I need a support, but how can I get this support? What exactly I need? Maybe I can ask for a conversation. Maybe I can ask for a hug. Maybe I can ask my friend to have a walk with me, because this is and many people, they just suppress their emotions. They cannot satisfy their basic needs, and it's where we start to have our problems. When we don't satisfy our needs, eventually it leads us to bigger problems. If it's happening over and over again, I'm not satisfying my needs, then you can end up by having a burnout or long-lasting stress. We're not going to scare.
Yeah, he's actually right, because I was talking to my own cardiologist, and he said that it seems that cardiologists recommend more antidepressants than psychiatrists do, because most people don't realize that your stress leads to medical conditions which could lead to severe issues, because stress dominates a person's mind and it captivates a person's body. So first of all, thank you both of you for sharing such brilliant knowledge and experience. So now what we'll do is we'll engage a little bit more, and we'll ask people to ask questions. So Nawar has raised his hand. Nawar, would you like to speak a little bit first about what you do and then ask your question?
Yeah, hi. So good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. So my name's Manwar Saeed. I work in financial services as a project manager, and just been patiently listening to everything that's been shared from the panel. I just want to say thank you. But a lot of this, it might be there might be time to talk through it in terms of the panelists and the speakers. Firstly, overthinking a problem and amplifying it a bit too much, and not taking a back seat and reflecting on it. And the other thing is as well that there's certain things that are in your control, and there's certain things that are out of your control. And it's often the things that are out of your control that you worry about a bit too much, and you don't take that time to reflect. And the biggest thing is as well that, I've come across various different things is sometimes it's a cultural thing where you don't actually go out and ask for help, because you think that, from our cultural background, it might be a taboo to say, look, I'm feeling down, I need some help, and things like that. And the only other final thing I was going to say is, you know, I heard it, emotional intelligence. There's lots of books out there, and I'm not sure if I can recommend something, but there's something by Dr. Travis Bradbury, I think, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and it talks about the tools and techniques. But the only other thing I was going to say is the 4-7-8 technique is definitely one to look at, and you know, I'll be looking at that, and hopefully future events I can come back and say how well it's worked. Other than that, well done. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
so much.
Manawar. Thank you so much. We have another question from, I believe, one of the attendees, and the question is, due to toxic work environment, I have been so stressed out from past few months that I've started having memory problems, and I'm agitated most of the time with my kids as well. How to overcome that? So this person has gone through stress so bad that the person has started to lose memory and gets agitated with their children and wants to know how to overcome that.
If you can tell more.
You know, about toxic work environment, I think that it's sometimes not only toxic work environments, also unfortunately many families have very toxic relationships, and in general it's a very difficult topic for me because I have a lot of empathy for people who are going through something like this, who have communication and who on a daily basis have to talk with, cooperate and communicate with toxic people, toxic employers, and being in a toxic environment. Because the worst thing is that even if you're mentally stable and healthy in the long term, you will be affected. And what is happening actually then, it's after some time you might start feeling a lot of doubts about yourself, that if you're actually a good employee, if you're a good person, if you're actually a good specialist, if you're worthy, and if you can if you are good enough to find another job, you might start having fears if you're even able to find another job, because if you're so bad, then probably nobody wants to have you. And this is the worst thing which is happening slowly, gradually, that you start believing in yourself and you start having problems with your self-confidence, and you might have a lot of different symptoms, right? Like memory problems or anxiousness, nightmares. Even some people, when they are for a long time being in the toxic environment, they might start having thoughts about suicidal thoughts or something, that they don't want anymore to experience it and feel like themselves in the trap, you know. And this is what is happening in the core, is that they start having a feeling that they are not worthy, something is wrong with them. And I just want to send my empathy to you and say that it's a very difficult situation. And I think what I would advise is to being strong, even though it sounds maybe so weird, and understand that nothing is wrong with you, because toxic environment is not your responsibility. Responsibility is always on both sides. It's the side of employer who is doing something like either humiliating, either not appreciating you enough, either is not paying you even if you're being promised to be paid. And also it's a 50-50 responsibility. And many times a person have a tendency to take 100% of responsibility for himself or herself, and then experience a lot of problems. So, and another responsibility is about you, that what is happening actually, that you keep being in this toxic environment, what is stopping you from changing this environment, and what is holding you back, because toxic environment is preventing you from grow, professional, personal, and actually leading you to have problems like depression, suicidal thoughts, and problems like you said with memory. So what is, maybe you can think of what is stopping you from changing the the situation, what is in, and this can be within you. This is a self-esteem, or fears, etc. And then you can work with your own personal challenges. I don't know if I'm if you can.
It's a good example which you gave.
Yeah.
So good suggestions, Lana. I think you're completely right. People have to kind of take control of the situation by limiting to what it is rather than letting it extend, because what generally happens is that we kind of let it extend, like we let it stay with us longer than it needs to be. So we leave the office and we go home and we're still carrying it with it, which we refer to as excess baggage. But that excess baggage is actually voluntarily taken home. It's not involuntary. So I think if people start using the breathing techniques and learn to calm themselves a little bit more, get more oxygen to the brain for them to kind of be more in control, I think things will be a little bit more manageable. We have a question from Adnan. Adnan, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. Thank you, Lana. I did hear about the 478 breathing technique, Lana, and I'm sure it's going to work out for me now. One thing which I would like to ask you both is that basically what I have seen throughout my personal life thing, basically when I'm done with work and and something or the other goes in the house, I get very irritated and very angry, but sometimes I show it, sometimes I just walk away and just avoid the situation. But sometimes after a very stressful day at work, very stressful week, and it actually starts taking a toll, that actually starts affecting the personal equation between me and my family. So how do I tackle that?
Yes, to rephrase, you are under huge stress, right? And you're looking for a solution how to avoid that this state of anger or maybe disappointment will not
affect your family, right?
Affect your family. Am I right, Adnan?
Yes. I do go to the gym. I do I do practice yoga and breathing techniques as well. I was practicing CBT before, cognitive behavior therapy, for breathing technique as well. So now sometimes after a very long day at work, it's really gets stressful, and I'm not in the mood to accompany things at home and stuff, and it actually takes a toll on a former personal relationship and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if I right understand that your main feeling which you experience is anger.
Yeah, anger. I mean, just verbal anger, and that's it. That's how it goes away. I mean, I just.
About anger, I just want to say that many times anger is a secondary feeling, and and it's also important to understand what is behind this anger. That can be many different things, and understanding what is behind this anger, because it's like maybe something was happening, you experience, you have either thoughts, either different feelings which lead to anger, and that is why it's important. When I was talking about emotions, understanding emotions can really solve a lot of your problems. Do you know, for example, what is behind your anger? Ask yourself, what is happening with you that you're getting angry? Are you maybe
what triggers you?
You're really tired, or maybe you feel guilty, or maybe you like something else.
Well, I mean, I quit smoking a long time ago. Sometimes after a stressful day at work, I do feel the urge of smoking, but just because of my family, I don't do it. So that actually triggers my anger and everything. So I take a Nicotex chewing gum and just relax and just avoid the situation. But sometimes it gets too much, just burst out, and that's it.
I think Lana, I think what Adnan is, and I'm very happy that Adnan has been open about this. A lot of people go through, the withdrawal symptoms of a certain habit, and there's a lot of fall through that takes place And I think it will be interesting to understand how to manage or control that situation. But I think what we'll do is we'll probably keep that as a session, because it becomes something that needs the proper attention and details to it. So yes, I think what we need to understand is that the purpose or the reason why this whole thing started with, especially with me, and why did I do it, was I was going also myself through a stressful time when COVID happened. All of a sudden, you're expected to finish everything online, everything is happening online, and the whole world is in this little frame here. And guess what? Life still went on, and we were still having curfews, and we could not get on for a walk, etc. Of course, we have come much further to that. And that's where the concept of my project started, which is the mental health app. And in this app, what we've done is we've used professionals like Wojtek and Lana, and we have Gina in America, we have Darcy in the UK, we have Pavni in India. So Rahul and I, Rahul, who's my co-founder, is here now. We try to create something which is, we call it top-level information and guidance. So it's not therapy, but it's a lot of good indications and directions for you to, number one, understand the topic. So let's assume you want to understand more about anxiety. It's important for you to understand what anxiety is before you start dealing with it. It's important for you to understand what is grief, what is depression. Okay, if you don't understand it, then for you to address it becomes a challenge. So first thing we did was we tried to create the understanding by putting in voice guided sessions, which you can hear on the app. And the second thing we did is we used the technical expertise of the two people here today, and Darcy in the UK, and Gina in America, and Pavni in India. And we started putting in recommendations to say, okay, these are first level, hand-holding stuff that you can use to deal with anger, to deal with depression, to deal with grief, etc. So why don't I let Rahul, my co-founder, and pretty much the engine behind most of what happens in the app, just introduce you all today a little bit of what the app can offer you and what you can do. So Rahul, why don't you take over and just give a few minutes of an introduction of the app, showing what the app does?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So basically, as we know, so mental health, we work on 4 pillars of mental health. So number 1 is the feelings. So basically, it helps you understand how you're feeling, what your thoughts are. Then it directly affects how strong or how weak your connections are with the people whom you are dealing with, and that directs to your overall functioning of your body. So what we have done, as I rightly said, so we have included more than 18 topics. So few of which we have already discussed is on anger and a few other things, which will help you understand the topics. So for example, if I just go to anxiety, these are not just exercises to calm you down, but these are the wide variety of topics which help you understand what anxiety is. So basically,
Rahul, can you just wait over there? Just wait over there. Let everybody get a hand of it. So just like what we were discussing earlier, that, what do you know about anxiety? How to make a mental note of your feelings, right? If anybody tells you that, how to make a mental note of your feelings, it's a sort of a quantifying exercise. But what we have done is we've tried to create that for you. Does anxiety affect your thoughts? Does it actually influence you? Did you know that there are different kinds of anxiety? Like everybody tags anxiety as one. It's not. There are different kinds of anxiety. Can anxiety be triggered too? Let's understand how. So it's all about creating understanding, how to expect the anticipatory part of anxiety. What is panic attacks? And all of these are sessions that are guiding you, that are basically controlling you and trying to give you enough information and a little bit of technique and guidance for you to begin to manage this. So as you go through each session and you progress one after the other, you would feel a little bit more informed. Just like in your jobs, when you take over a new job and you're assigned, no matter what your experience, you want to understand, what is my job? You know that you got a job offer. It says you've been hired as a treasury manager for a bank. You know treasury work, but you don't know how this bank works. Similarly, anxiety, you need to understand first anxiety and then see how it reflects on you, because like Wojtek and Lana said earlier, each person's DNA is different. And I'm not talking about the DNA of the body, I'm talking about the DNA of your problem. So you need to understand what is your DNA of the problem for anxiety, for stress, for healthy relationships, and you take it from there. Go ahead, Rahul. Sorry, I just needed to add that.
So these sessions, these are one thing. So we had one discussion where we spoke about emotional intelligence and how our emotions affect our overall, functioning of the body. So likewise, we are going very deep into our emotions just to understand the difference between emotions and feelings. Most of the people, they don't understand that emotions and feelings are two different things. Then the next thing which we have on the platform is to help you understand what your thoughts are or what your mental health is. So we have included many assessment tests, many assessment tests from reputed journals. So if you see, we have assessment on self-esteem, which you can take monthly. So this will help you track your self-esteem or self-confidence on monthly basis. Likewise, if you go into deep, we have it for anxiety, for stress, and for depression.
So what Rahul is trying to share here is that he's saying that whenever you go on our app, on the 2 app, the first thing we suggest you do is take an assessment test, because it's important for you to mark where you are at the moment. Where are you with anxiety? Where are you with stress? Where are you with depression? And then after listening to the sessions, go and do the assessment test again to see whether you have grown, whether you've got better, and you will see it, because it's important for you to kind of measure what you're doing, because some of these sessions are orchestrated by professionals like Wojtek and Lana. And what they've done is they've tried to compact everything for you as voice-guided sessions, because the human body, you know, we don't just react with what we see, we also react with what we hear. So once you put your earplugs in and you are listening, even if you're sitting in a tube, you're driving your car, or you're sitting on your couch having tea, or you're looking outside the window, or you're depressed in your office, and you need someone to kind of guide you. Now, this is where you come onto this app, and it basically says, hey, why don't you first take an assessment test and then start listening to the sessions and go on from there. Go ahead, Rahul.
Yes. So likewise, we have included at this moment, we are every week we are adding new content onto the platform. So at this moment, we have added more than 18 topics, and there are more than 135 sessions which are already there on the platform, which you can go and listen to. So first 3 sessions of every topic you can go and listen to, which is free of cost. We are not charging anything for that. And from first 3 sessions, you'll be able to understand where you are with your mental health, and then probably you can decide on the further sessions.
So if you're a parent, can you just go to understand your kid better, please?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you go to that section as a parent, you're very important. It's very important for you to understand what your child is going through. You know, is there an issue of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Is there a learning disability that you're experiencing with your child? Is there something of autism that you think, and you don't know anything about autism, you don't know anything about ADHD. So you go to this app and you basically start understanding. So the app is not just there trying to give you help, but it's also trying to create understanding. So if you go to self-care, can you go to self-care, please, Rahul? And in self-care, if you go to power of now, right? So this is something that Wojtek has worked on as a concept of here and now, understanding it. Why is it important for you to know where you are now? And how can you learn about distractors and energy? Where does this energy come from? What is the concept of autopilot and mindfulness? Steps for living conscious life. All of this are bundled sense of information, guidance, and understanding that's very important for you. So today's session was about trying to engage all of you in trying to discuss the important topic of mental health in the corporate space. Today's session was about trying to build more understanding on what can be done. And hopefully some of you will take the time out and go to our app, the two app. Rahul, can you put the name of the app or the website for people to where they can download it? You can download it on Apple as well as on Android, and it is called Two. What is the download name, Rahul? Can you tell people?
Yes, so I have added the app link on the comment section on the options. So basically from there you can go and check out on Google and on iPhone. You can basically go and search to mental health and wellness. I'll put that on the screen as well on the options. Basically you can go and check out.
Okay, can you stop sharing the screen now so we can have a closing discussion? So if anybody has any other questions that they want to ask, we have another 5 minutes, or if no, then we can close the event and thank our lovely speakers today and the panelists for spending the time with us. So if anybody has a question, please raise your hand and we will let you ask a question. If no, then we will try and close this event. Great. So if you look at the chat box, you will see the download links for you for Apple as well as Android. And you will see some of the work there, or some of the sessions are from Wojtek and Lana, which can help you. Both of you, Wojtek and Lana, thank you very much for spending the time with us and sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you, panelists, for sharing your experiences and concerns that help us engage today much better. And yes, we really wish for everybody good health every time. Today, we will wish everybody good mind and good health as well. And we hope that we will grow together in better days and better mental states. And it's about time that we all accept the fact that mental health is a real issue. And it is not an issue for somebody that you see on a movie or a Netflix show. It is plaguing all of us. It's probably bigger than COVID. It's just that we need to accept it sooner rather than later, because with COVID, you had your booster shots and vaccinations. With mental health, we need people like Lana. We need people like Wojtek. We need the app like Two for us to take things forward. So I wish everybody good health, good life, positive energy, and a lot of smiles. So thank you for joining us. And I really hope this was a useful session for all of you.
Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you, Mr. Mohiuddin, as well. And see you all sometime soon. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.